Hi, Minister. Good to see you. If you could explain this in the simplest terms possible for Canadians, why did it take 3 years to get to this point? And are you expecting any retaliation from the corporation, from the People's Republic of China for this decision, please?
Well, let me be very clear to Canadians. Tonight, we intend to exclude Huawei and ZTE from our 5G network, full stop. I would say that this has never been a race. This is about taking the right decision. This is about providing a framework to protect our infrastructure. And I would say in a 5G world, in the Internet of Things, at a time where we rely more and more in our daily lives from our network, this is the right decision. And we are pleased to announce it today because that will secure our network for generations to come.
And as you know, there are probably about 1 million Canadians outside our borders right now, many of whom are in the People's Republic of China, and many more are seeking to go there for business or personal reasons. What is your message to them, please, as this decision comes down?
Well, I'm happy to go, and Minister Mendicino may add. Let me be clear, this is about Canada. This is about our national security. This is about our telecom infrastructure. And therefore, like I said, we did a very thorough process. We concluded that process today, and that's why we're announcing that we intend to exclude Huawei and ZTE from our 5G networks. And I would say this is very much in line with what our allies have been doing as well in order to protect one of the most critical infrastructure, not only now, but for generations to come, because this is providing a framework that will allow to add companies that could pose a threat in the future to the integrity of our network here in Canada.
Bonjour, Louis Blouin de Radio-Canada. Monsieur Champagne, la question vous a été posée. J'aimerais vous entendre à nouveau là-dessus. Pourquoi ça a été aussi long? Et on comprend que l'affaire Meng Wanzhou pouvait peut-être représenter une complication, mais ça fait maintenant presque 8 mois que les deux Michaels sont libérés.
But it's been more than 8 months since the Michaels have been released. Why did it take so long? As I said before, it has never been a race. In making these decisions that will have such an impact, not only now, but
Ce qui compte pour les gens qui nous regardent à la maison aujourd'hui, c'est de prendre la bonne décision.
Systems is that we are making the right decision. The right decision is the one that is in the best interest of Canada or national security. It is the decision that will also ensure the integrity of our telecoms network for generations to come. Can you comment on China's commercial practices? What is your message to Beijing if they intend to take action? The first issue is that this decision is in line with our allies. This is a decision that is being made for Canada that concerns our networks and our national security. I can tell you that we have carried out an in-depth process, and it has been completed, and that is resulting in today's announcement.
Mia Rabson from the Canadian Press. Is this not a moot decision, given that the big telecompanies in Canada, TELUS, Rogers, Bell, have already gone with other companies?
What I would say, the good news for Canadians and people watching at home is that already the vast majority of our telecommunication network does not include equipment with respect to the 5G network from either Huawei or ZTE. And I think that tonight, the telecommunication companies, the message is very clear that we intend to exclude them from our 5G network. So to your point, indeed, the equipment of these two companies is not very much present in our 5G network today in Canada.
I'm also wondering if you could speak to what this will do to our relationship with the United States, given the noise they had been making about intelligence sharing and that with countries who were using Huawei.
Well, in the first instance, as Minister Champagne has said, the intention that has been communicated today by the Government of Canada to prohibit the ongoing installation of equipment from Huawei and ZTE is very much in alignment with our Five Eyes partners, including the United States, with whom we have very robust relationships when it comes to intelligence sharing and the ever-evolving threats to national security. But the second thing I would say in answer to your first question is that today's intention, yes, has very specific consequences for Huawei and ZTE, but it's also about demarking a new era in safeguarding our telecommunications industry. And as I said in my remarks, there are many opportunities that Minister Champagne and his department look to marshal with the telecommunications sector. Canada is a country where people can innovate and start new businesses and leverage new technologies in 5G and beyond. But we also need to safeguard against the risks which can be exploited within those networks. And not only the intention that has been communicated today, but additional legislation forthcoming will be sure that we protect and safeguard against those risks.
Kevin Gallagher, CTV National News. I think, why did it take Canada longer than our Five Eyes allies to come to this decision?
Well, like I said before, and I think Canadians understand, this has never been a race. This is about taking the right decision, because what we're saying today, this is about a framework that will have an impact not only on our most critical infrastructure, which I would say is the telecom infrastructure in Canada today, but for generations to come. So we needed to do the work with the security agencies, and I want to thank Minister Mendicino and everyone who has contributed to that. We have concluded our process. We're announcing it, and I would say that our announcement is very much in line with what we have seen in other in other Five Eyes countries.
Just significantly later, that's all. I mean, significantly later. Sir, I can move on to if you're not going to answer that question, I prefer to move on to a follow-up that you will answer.
Well, I would say to you, sir, at no point when you're taking decisions which have an impact on national security, it's about a race. It's about taking the right decision in consultation with our allies, in consultation with the security agencies. And I think tonight Canadians can understand that not only we have protected our network for today, but we have also provided a framework. And I think Minister Mendicino was saying the how is the enabling legislation, which will allow us to add any other company that would pose a threat to our national security or to the integrity of our network for generations to come.
What is that threat? What threat does Huawei pose to Canada?
Well, as we said in our remarks, the examination that was conducted over the last period of time was thorough, it was meticulous, it was on the strength of the advice that we get from our national security partners, and it reflects the reality that in these two particular instances that there is a need to ensure that we prohibit the installation of their equipment and technology within the 5G network, given the potential risks that they pose to national security. And going forward, the legislation will both allow us an opportunity to update that list as may be required, as well as introducing additional legislation to further ensure that there's robust protections to these evolving threats to our national security as it pertains to the telecommunications sector.
Marc-Andre Cossette, Global News. How concerned are you about the specific risk of cyber retaliation by China? And what is the government doing specifically to ramp up its defenses against that potential threat?
Well, as I've commented on a number of occasions, Canada continues to be very vigilant against the ever-evolving threats to our national security, specifically as it relates to cybersecurity. There are a number of well-known belligerent hostile actors who use cybersecurity to penetrate into our cyber infrastructure. There are many opportunities abound to leverage new technology and innovation, but the fact of the matter is that Canadians depend on cyber to live out their daily lives in just about every aspect. So as we remain very much on high alert against belligerent actors, including the potential for increased activity in this space, we need to be sure that we're creating the legislative frameworks to take the necessary steps. And today was a necessary step. There needed to be a thorough examination. Obviously, we were quite anxious to make the decision, but we also wanted to make sure that we got it right. And in addition to that, we're going to make sure that we provide new tools for government, for Canadians to protect themselves against those ever-evolving threats.
And Huawei was a national security issue, but its technology did perform well up north where it is an established player. So what will the government do to ensure that Canadians in the north have access to quality non-Huawei 5G technology?
Well, we're making robust investments to ensure that Canadians get access to broadband regardless of where they live, but I will pass the mic over to Minister Champagne, who I'm sure has more to say.
Well, thank you, Minister Mendicino. As I said before, and to go back to your specific questions, the vast majority of the 5G network in Canada, and I would say the 4G network as well, exclude equipment and services from either Huawei or ZTE. So what we're saying today is to provide clarity and predictability to the telecommunication companies across the country about our intention to protect our network, not only for now, but for generations to come. And as Minister Mendicino said, this is going to be an evolving analysis. Today, we are very clear about our intention with respect to 2 specific companies, but that will be analyzed as we go forward, not only now, because if you think about the Internet of Things, if you think about autonomous vehicle, we all know that the distributed nature of the points that are going to be connecting to the network, we need to protect our network for our economy, for our national security, and also for Canadians. Sir?
Bonjour, M. Champagne, Olivier Ferrand-Boissé de TVA. J'aimerais revenir sur une question d'un collègue. Qu'est-ce qui cause précisément un enjeu de sécurité auprès de l'entreprise? Qu'est-ce qui a pris 3 ans à déterminer qui fait qu'on a une décision aujourd'hui?
What happened over the last 3 years that led to today's decision?
Vous donner plus de détails sur l'analyse de
Minister
sécurité nationale.
Mendicino can provide more details on the national security situation. I can tell you that we have carried out a rigorous process with our intelligence services. The process has been completed, and that's why we are announcing the decision today. What we are announcing today is to the telecom companies across the country is that ZTE and Huawei will be excluded from our infrastructure, our 5G infrastructure across Canada. As Minister Mendicino mentioned, this is providing a framework for companies, and this will be for companies who may present a risk to Canada's national security in the future. Was there any pressure from your allies to make this decision? Minister Mendicino can speak to that, but this is Canada's decision. This is about our national security. This is about Canadians. We were guided in this process by the goal of safeguarding Canada's national security and our current infrastructure, both for now and in the future. As I said before, it's never been a race. Canadians need to understand that we took the time necessary to do things the right way and ensure our national security in conjunction with our allies.
From the National Post. The question is, since you said that you'll be asking companies to rip out the equipment in their 4G networks, if I understood correctly, will the government be compensating the companies who have to rip equipment out? I know Bell and TELUS, for example, have been asking for compensation.
The simple answer is no.
Okay. Fair enough. I like that. I like that. More of that.
So you can have 2 follow-ups. You can have 2 follow-ups now.
And just to be specific, will you be asking them to take out every piece from all parts of their networks, or is it outside, for example, of the core, what you call the radio access network?
No, that's a very serious question and a very important question. Obviously, as you see in the statement, we have dates, we have a process that's going to be put in place. We will engage with the companies. But what we wanted, and with Minister Mendicino and as a government, we wanted to provide clarity, stability, predictability to the operators across the country. And I think that today, with this announcement, we're providing that clarity. Obviously, we will be working with them. There are some timelines in order for them to replace that equipment. But what is important for Canadians to take away today is that we have taken measure with Minister Mendicino and the Prime Minister and this government to protect the integrity of our network, to have a process to make sure that we would remain current, whatever technology and other actors may come in our network, and that our 5G network will be very secure for generations to come.
I'll take you up on that offer, though, for a last one. Just out of curiosity, have you noticed any incidents, have there been incidents reported to you of Huawei using national security laws to actually steal information or for the wrong reasons, and is that spurring now your decision?
Well, I would say this has been a process, as you know. When you take a decision which will have an impact not only today, but for generations to come, you consult allies, you consult with various agencies, and I want to thank them for the work they've done, and Minister Mendicino and his team. Their findings have obviously informed our decision today, and that's why we have a very clear intention, and then we're going to be working to implement that as quickly as possible.